party, I try very hard not to be political in trying to be involved in the decisions that really matter to the people that we represent. What we've got ourselves into here this afternoon is a blame game. And I've heard people say that the former Director of Children's Services and the Cabinet member are responsible. I want to remind everybody here in this chamber that we are all responsible for all of the decisions that are taken to those children in this
Could we just allow the member to speak?
I would appreciate the opportunity to finish if you don't mind, thank you. There has been a distinct lack of engagement by members on the Corporate Parent Board. Despite pleas to the contrary, I can say that I'm one of only a handful that bothered to attend, and I think that the level of interest shown in the welfare of our children today seems to me to be a bit rich, given the lack of engagement. I can think of one councillor who recently chose to become involved at a greater level, that's Councillor Redmond, and I welcome that involvement. But other than that, I don't know of any councillor here that's as involved with those children as I am. And when the situation with regards to them being used as political footballs was raised, I can confirm that as of this last weekend, because I was the only councillor at their meeting, as I am every month, those children, unbidden, raised this in my hearing. They felt that by attending corporate parent meetings, that there were a number of councillors there who at the time were using it for political purposes and felt that people were trying to manipulate them. These children are not stupid. Most of them are quite streetwise and they don't like being treated in that way. With regards to the salary, which we have been discussing at some length this afternoon, can I remind everybody here that although, yes, the Director of Children's Services was paid an awful lot of money, this isn't just about the money. He was hired because of his reputation elsewhere. I would not be at all surprised if, having chosen of his own free will, although to all intents and purposes I suppose we could say he was sacked, to leave this council, if Rotherham don't snap him up immediately. The reason he was not able in the end to perform to the standard that we had hoped that he would be able to achieve, and which for a length of time in this council he had achieved, was down to the bullying and the heckling amongst opposition members here in this chamber who had their own agendas to follow. I noticed that in raising his amendment that Councillor Bailey said we need to see services move back to where they were. No, we do not. Where the services were is no longer acceptable in this society. We have to move forward, and as the leader has said, the goalposts have changed. We cannot any longer accept what is not the right thing for these children. I had dealings with the former Director of Children's Services long before I became a county councillor. I was chair of Somerset Schools Forum at the time, and I contacted him on his appointment before he ever came to this council. It was also me, whilst I was the chair of Schools Forum, that led the delegation.
Linda, can I ask you we seem to be on a bit
I
of a
realise I'm
ramble.
on a rant and a rave.
Okay, so could you just restrict where you're going, please?
It's not pay policy though, is it?
Who until now has shown very little interest in what goes on with these children.
Okay, I'm sure you're about to sum up.
If people don't want to work here, I would suggest that in many cases it is down to the fact that when they do come to work here, they see so much bickering amongst the members that they decide that it isn't the kind of place they want to work, and any amount of money will not necessarily persuade them to do so. I think I've had